Hello everyone, welcome to the Uncensored match build-up. It's myself and Errol here today for all of your build-up and your watch-along duties. How are we, Errol? Feeling good?
Good, man. Yeah, it's the weekend. We've got an extended weekend as well, thankfully.
have.
Yeah, so I'm quite happy, mate.
How you
Can't
feeling
complain.
about the game?
Do you know what? Brentford have caused us a little bit of trouble home and away last couple of seasons. They're a handy team. It'd be interesting. We probably get some stats up in a minute, to be fair, to see what their run of form has been like over the last couple of weeks, because I haven't really paid them much attention. People might say results went our way midweek a little bit, maybe. There's obviously a big game tomorrow, but I think Liverpool have still just got to focus on the job and the task at hand. And if we're able to go unbeaten and be flawless or win every game between now and the end of the season, we put ourselves in the best possible position for finishing in those European spots. Whether it's going to be enough to get top four, we'll just have to wait and see how all the other games play out. But right now, I think this Liverpool team's confidence is back to probably the highest it potentially could have been all season, really. I think with the pressure of certain games now off them, in terms of, obviously, we know that we're out of all the big cups, we're out of all the big challenges. This is the last thing to really focus on and double down on. And to these lads that have achieved so much in recent seasons, I don't really feel like they'll be feeling this is a bit of a pressure cooker or anything. They'll just be enjoying the fact that it's one game a week. Get out there, get in front of the lads, be back in front of the fans, be back at home, and obviously do whatever they can do to finish the season as strong as possible.
Yeah, and we haven't had form like we've got at the moment all season. When was the last time we could sit and have a conversation, mate, and say it's 6 wins on the spin, or 5-6 wins on the spin, and 2 draws before that. So it's a prolonged period of not losing football matches, which is not something we've been able to say. What we'll say is I did the Oppo preview with Jay Harris from The Athletic. Really, really good conversation that was. They're not coming with any fear. They don't show anybody any respect.
But they don't, though, and that's the one thing I do like about Brentford, because they'll go to anyone's ground. Like, I think that's probably one of the things that I've said about certain teams in the Premier League, especially when you know the City games on in the background there, and you're looking at teams that go up there and they're so spineless. They don't want to give any challenge to anyone. But this Brentford team don't have a inferiority complex or nothing like that. They know they've worked hard to get themselves to where they are. They've worked hard to sustain being in the Prem now for a couple of seasons. And in Ivan Toney, they've got a lad up top that is very, very confident, and that kind of spreads throughout the team. They've got a particular way of playing, with a decent manager as well, who's got them all on song. And you've got to give them a lot of credit, really, because they're punching above the weight, but at the same time, they, as you said to your point, they don't give anybody any respect. They just want, they know on any given day, you can come to your ground or you can come to our ground and you can get it.
100%, mate. Once the team comes out, we'll get Errol over at the board and we'll go through what was last time and what we're likely to think it's going to be this time. But in the meantime, let's have a listen to what the boss had to say at his press conference.
Not really, to be honest. It's like Jogo has his back issue, the bruised rib. He could train yesterday, but he didn't do a lot, to be honest. He was not really in danger yesterday for any kind of contact or stuff like this. And so we have to see there. Bobby's not yet in team training. We hope that he can start next week with team training. Now we have obviously Thiago. Will have a surgery and is out for the rest of the season. And so I wouldn't say I have a lineup dilemma. You mean up front, but not really have Handel. We have to see. You had yesterday's scan, didn't get the results yet. It will not be a big thing, but maybe it's enough to rule him out for tomorrow. I don't know that yet. So I can't see any kind of lineup dilemmas, to be honest. Anyway, don't understand that won't work 100%. When they're all fit, then you just can make the choice, and that's much more feels much better than when you don't have any.
So that was the boss's thoughts on some of the injuries and some of the selection headaches he's got this weekend. Obviously, Jordan Henderson, the most notable one from what is news in terms of he's having a scan. So that was not something we saw coming. So in the meantime, Errol's gone over to the board. We've got the team up from the game at the weekend. Do you just want to run through that, Errol, and talk us through who played?
Yeah, certainly can do. So if we look over onto the board here, we'll see that Jordan Henderson here did start last game, but there is going to be a big question mark in it. They say there was a potential for a scan.
Yeah.
He's out at the moment. So who is going to come into this right side of the 8th position? That's what we're going to be asking ourselves in a moment. But just to run you through that team, you've got Alisson again. Nailed on. He's obviously going to start. Best goalkeeper in the world. Will be starting in goal today for Liverpool. Trent, again, we've got him in here in this back four, but as you know, we've been watching with eagle eyes the position that Trent has been picking up over the recent weeks, and we will see a lot more of this kind of drifting in, and this whole formation will change around. But for right now, we'll leave Trent where he is, right back, best right back in the world. Canate there. Best under-23s defender in the world, next to Virgil van Dijk, the best defender in the world. And Andy Robbo, best left-back. I mean, look at that for the back five. And then Jones, a resurgence of Curtis Jones in recent weeks, if you're being completely honest. He's now looking to start probably his 6th game on the bounce, if I'm not mistaken. And that would be massive for him there in terms of his confidence and in terms of him actually now being able to kick on and what that means for the future. Is he going to be someone that can nail down a spot in this Liverpool regular 11? Well, the way that he's playing at the moment is for somebody else to come and dislodge him, but at the moment he went and played there in midweek with Fabinho. Diaz, Nunes, Salah up top. Now, if like anybody else has been all over social this week, you will have seen the release for the new kit, and these front three lads were donning the new strip very, very nicely, and that is a very exciting prospect for us. When I look at these lads here now, I think the other day it didn't quite click, but it's the first time for so many months that we've seen them play and start a game together. So what will be really interesting is, because we noticed Salah, Nunes have struck up a little bit of a partnership. They've got a little bit of an understanding over recent months, that in the last couple of weeks, since, to be honest with you, since Liverpool have got this upturn in form, their partnership has probably been the most hindered, because we've had the likes of Cody Gakpo come in. We've had the likes of Jota come back from injury. Bobby had been back from injury before he's injured again. So these lads have had to kind of readjust, but now with Diaz being back in there, that is a formidable front three. And what we would be looking to see from these lads in particular is them to get that little bit of fluidity back, that little bit of understanding, and start to build on that partnership. There are not that many games left of this season, so the more we can get those front three in and starting games together, I think the better chance we have of going unbeaten between now and the end of the season.
Well summarised, mate. So let's have a look at the Henderson situation, because we're pretty sure that the rest...
We can take Henderson and we can probably put him down there, because if he's not fit to start, he probably won't be in the squad.
So who are his options? So we'll start with James Milner.
So James Milner, this week, massive news for all you Liverpool fans out there. If you've not heard the news, I don't know where you've been living under a rock, but James Milner will be more than likely heading his way down to Brighton this summer. So will he get the chance to have a swan song this afternoon in front of the Anfield crowd? Could we see something like that in midfield? There's question marks there. It's an option. How would you feel about seeing something like that today? Would it be too soon for you?
I think there's better options.
Okay, what else are we thinking?
We've seen Harvey Elliott play on that right-hand side a number of times.
Okay, so let's go for that look. So we drop Milner. He's more than likely to be on the bench if he does get dropped. But Harvey Elliott in there, Curtis Jones and Fabinho. When was the last time we seen this, Steve? Refresh my memory, because it wasn't too long ago.
Game before last.
Game before last. And what was we thinking about it when because I was a little bit nervous. Who was it that we was playing? This is where my mind goes to shit. It wasn't...
Was it Spurs?
It was
Spurs.
It was Spurs. Yes, it was. It was the Spurs game. What a topsy-turvy game that was, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. But with Harvey Elliott there and Curtis Jones, what are your thoughts? Because I had reservations. Now, in that Spurs game, as you rightly say, I think they played well. We was fast out the blocks. Probably our best start of any game this season by a long stretch. But as we know, how that result in that game panned out, we lost a little bit of control over the course of the game. Would that be a better option for you, or is that the best option today in Henderson's absence?
If we're playing that formation, yes, it is, because we'll see Brentford play with quite a low block, and they'll try and spring the two front guys in behind us. They'll want us to play with a high back line, so that will suit them. The other option is to go 4-2-3-1. So you take Elliott out of the equation.
Done.
You put Gakpo behind Nunes, and you put Jones and Fabinho slightly more central.
So a little bit like this, would I be right in saying? Yeah,
and that still gives Trent the scope to join in.
And still gives Trent the ability to join in. That is really interesting there. So you drop Gakpo into essentially a bit of a 10 role, give him the licence to kind of be one of the most advanced in that midfield.
And off the ball, he can drop in 10 yards and make a 3. Okay.
So that was, is that the best option? Because I like that. I like Cody Gakpo.
You tell me what you think. What do you think we should do?
I like Cody Gakpo playing there, if I'm completely honest with you. I'm looking at the options on this side for me here now. And as you say, I think it's safe to say the likes of Carvalho, he's been out of favour. So to just throw him in out of the cold right now at this point in the season, I don't see it personally. I understand with Harvey Elliott, that would be my natural reservation. So we know Thiago's out. So there really is only Milner or Elliott that can kind of come in and challenge on that right side. I think it'd be a little bit unfortunate for Elliott to miss out, but with what you said here, I can see the sense in playing Gakpo in the middle there and kind of having two, because ultimately what's going to happen anyway, I think more would be something like this with that anyway.
Possibly.
So you'd end up these shuffling down a little bit, you'd end up with Trent. I feel like Fabinho's naturally going to be that 6, and he's like a half and half. He's not going to quite drop in, but I say that, but you'll still see Trent at moments popping up here doing what he does. But I think a starting position when we kind of got the ball that we're building would be here, and then obviously given that licence for support.
Well, what is interesting is they have a player called Norgard, who's their defensive centre midfielder. He's not going to be available. So if that news is readily available, which it is, if I know Jurgen Klopp knows, let's be honest, I don't have anything he doesn't, then the likelihood is that they may build a team around the fact that we may get the opportunity to play a little bit in front of their back four. That guy's not there. So that was my thinking, to do the 4-2-3-1. But it very much isn't a 4-2-3-1, because it'll become a 3-2-2-3 almost, because Jones has got licence to roam. If you go back to the Leeds game, Jones assisted from the right side of centre midfield.
He did, absolutely. And we are about to let you know now, so you will not be in the dark for very much longer.
1 second.
Steve, if you refresh it, you let me know, and I'll move the places and the faces around.
I'm trying to refresh it. It's not giving me the team.
But for now, the anticipation. I think he's got a good chance of being right.
Right, here we go.
Let's go.
In goal, Alisson Becker.
Boom.
Right back, Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Of course he is.
Centre-back partnership of Konate and Van Dijk.
1-2-1-2.
Robertson at left-back. Fabinho, Jones and Gakpo.
Look at that, look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Fabinho, Jones and Gakpo.
And it's Jota, Salah and Nunez. So Diaz comes out of the starting lineup. That would be Errol, because he's played 2 games in short succession after 180 days out injured. So that makes sense. So that means Jota's back injury, which he sustained 2 games ago, is not an issue. What are your thoughts, Errol, on the team?
I'll take it. That was been my only other question, really, and we didn't get a chance to really dive into it. I like the idea of that front three, and I want to see more of that front three going forward. But at this moment in time, we have still got a Luis Diaz who is fresh back from an injury. As Deisha told you, it's been a lengthy injury as well. So we've got to be careful with how we manage his minutes at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. We've got to take our time with Diaz. And for me, I think the fact that he's played 2 games in the last space of a week, he's played really well, let's be honest. He's come back, he's had an impact, he's given the team a little bit of a lift as well. I think a lot of people have enjoyed having his presence back in the squad. He bagged the goal against Spurs. I think now is the perfect time to take him back out to the firing line. And let's be honest, I was sat over there with Steve 10, 15 minutes ago, and we were saying that Brentford show nobody any respect. That's because they have that physicality in their side. That's because they will come and crunch into a tackle. The last thing we need between now and the end of the season is any of these players picking up any knocks or any injuries.
Right, we'll do subs, and then we'll do the Brentford team before we close for this one. So on the bench today, we've got Kelleher, Gomez, Milner, the skipper, Henderson makes it, so we'll have to dig him out from down there.
Whoop.
Elliott, Simicas, Diaz, Carvalho and Matip. So not many changes there from the matchday squad early on in the week. Whilst you're there, we'll go through the Brentford team. Give me 2 secs to share that with you. So in goal, Raya. Well, I've done this in number order, so we'll go through the 11. There's a lot of names on there that most of us won't be familiar with. So it's Raya, Hickey, Zanka, Pinnock, me, Henry, Janelt, Onyeka, Jensen, Ibomu and Tony. Now, Ibomu and Tony are the front 2, and those will be the guys who try and spring us with. No Norgard, which is huge for them in terms of their protecting their back 3. They'll play with 3, with 2 wing backs will sit in to make themselves deep and hard to break down. They'll play with a low block. They'll try and spring us on the breaks with the high back line that we incorporate. As you said and we said before, Errol, they come with absolutely no fear. They don't care who they're playing, and you have to respect that.
You've got to respect. They don't respect us, but we have to respect that in them, absolutely. And I think this team with this kind of setup gives license. Okay, so for you then, Steve, I've got one more question before I make my way back over to the desk and we kind of do a little bit of an unpacking of the actual team. Jota or Nunes down the middle? Who are you going with as I make my way back across?
Jota. I
Yeah.
think I'm going to go with Jota down the middle because I think Nunes himself would tell you he'd probably prefer to play off the left-hand side. It's where he played for Benfica. He's still adapting to Liverpool football. He's still adapting to the players that are playing around him. There he's got to think about Curtis Jones behind him, Gakpo and whoever plays inside him, playing as a number 9 through the middle like that. And I could be completely wrong. He's got to think about everybody. And we're still looking at him thinking he's still got to learn what we're doing. There's still plenty of room for improvement, not criticism. It just is what it is. This is not a formation he's used to playing with. In Benfica, he was top dog. They played around him. They structured their whole squad around his style of football, which he would have revelled in. But now it's a little bit different. So yeah, I think I'd prefer to see Jota through the middle. What about you?
No, I tend to agree with that take, and I think as well it serves Jota as well as much as we can talk about and highlight Nunes' game. I think it serves Jota equally as well to play down the middle, because I don't ever think his best games have come down the left hand side from in a Liverpool shirt for him, and I think he can knit the ball, which again is going to be interesting to see really what Cody Gakpo does in that half space and how he occupies it. And obviously when we've got the ball, he's going to have to act like he's a bit of a 10 and link up that play. Who's he going to be more on song with? Is it going to be Jota? And again, his job is to link all three of them. It's to not just single out one man and say you're going to be my buddy for the day. But I do think having Jota in front of him, the intelligence that Jota makes, Jota has a habit of being in the right place at the right time. We know he is that guy. He's done it for us before. The ball lands to him in the 95th minute, 96th minute. Who do you want running in on goal? It's Diogo Jota. So for that reason, and many others, you can imagine that it could be him down the middle. Nunes, I don't think he feels the natural pressure. If he can actually spread the play, take a player with him to go out wide on that wing, I feel he feels a little bit more comfortable as well, because isolating someone's his game. When he's got two players that are going to basically mark him out of the game, I see him getting a little bit more frustrated. He doesn't get as much. I thought his work rate off the ball the other day was still quite impressive. If he can replicate that and do it on the left-hand side for us tonight or this evening, I would prefer to see them both in those two positions.
Those of you in the YouTube on the Discord, keep your comments coming. It seems to be in agreement with you and I, Errol, that Jota should play down the middle.
Yeah, Josh Gavin says defo Jota down the middle there. Thank you for that, Josh. Appreciate it.
100%. Right, well, that's the build-up show done for. We'll be back at 5:15 for the watch-along. We'll have a little bit of a chance to have a chit-chat now, once we've all sort of digested the teams and thought about where this may go. We'll see you soon. We'll see you at 5:15.
Hey everyone, I hope you've enjoyed the show. Did you know that if you go over to redmenplus.com and sign up as a Club Legend subscriber, I will personally email you every single month with a new code which gets you 20% off at redmenmerch.com. That's a no-brainer. Go and do it.